Welcome to the Los Angeles Method Creative Leadership Podcast. My name is Theodora. I'm the creator and founder. During this time together, we will work on supporting and empowering you to become the best leader you can be in your personal or professional life. Before we continue, once more, I want to clarify that this is not therapy or a substitute for medical advice. Let me quote Maslow's hierarchy of needs. At the bottom of the pyramid, you have the physiological needs: air, water, food, shelter, sleep, clothing, reproduction. On the top are the safety needs: personal security, employment, resources, health, property. Third comes love and belonging: friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection. Fourth is esteem: respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, freedom. And lastly, fifth, self-actualization, desire to become the most that one can be. To do the work with the Los Angeles Method Creative Leadership, the first two floors of your pyramid, physiological needs and safety needs, must have been met. If you feel you are stuck, and with that feeling come thoughts of harming yourself, or you feel persistently sad, anxious, empty, if you have intense feelings of hopelessness or pessimism, you have lost interest in pleasure, we recommend you seek professional medical advice. The Los Angeles Method is not a substitute for medical advice. It is a training program for people who want to explore self-actualization, self-esteem, empowerment, self-confidence, connection, and become the creative leaders of their lives. My name is Theodora. I'm the creator and founder. I have been an actress, a director, a producer, a teacher for more than 25 years now. My father was one of the greatest actors in Greece, iconic, a legend. So I was raised in film studios, in theater dressing rooms, in art gatherings. I studied in New York and then traveled the world. I have lived and worked in Athens, Rome, Amsterdam, New York, and I'm currently settled in Singapore with my partner and our daughter, Electra. I stand strongly for women's empowerment, and everything I do is centered around giving women voice. From the theater plays I direct, to the commercials I produce, to the workshops I teach, my compass is women's empowerment. I want women to receive the success they deserve. Success is to be seen. I support women in being seen and heard, in becoming the star of the movie that is their life. A few years ago, I had to take a break. I went through postpartum depression, and a little while after giving birth, my dad passed away, which sent me further down. But I did the work, and now I'm back for part 2. I'm back in serving my purpose and showing people that they can be the writer, director, and star of the movie that is their life. And if a scene turns out a way you don't like, you can rewrite it. You can reshoot it. Let's talk about how you can be the creative leader of your life. Let's talk about how you can be the writer, the producer, the director, and the star of the movie that is your life. Let's start a conversation about creative leadership. Let's start the conversation with a question. Do you want to be a leader, or do you want to be a follower? Now, before you answer this question, think about this. Leaders are not just CEOs or presidents. A leader is someone who can make decisions, who has choices, who sees that they have choices, who has the freedom to create their reality and inspire themselves and others to action. So are you a leader or are you a follower? Consider also the fact that being a follower is not a bad thing. It takes talent to be a follower. So the question is not whether you want to be good or bad. Leaders can be good, followers can be good. Leaders can be bad, followers can be bad. So the question is not whether you want to be good or bad. The question is, do you want to live an authentic and true to your values life? Be able to communicate efficiently with yourself and others. If yes, then you're in the right place. If you want to do more in-depth work on creative leadership, check our site and sign up for our creative leadership program. Being a creative leader means that you need to be in the flow. Let's talk about the 6 conditions that you need to achieve the flow. Number 1 is knowing what to do. In acting, we call this the overall objective, and there are specific exercises you can do to find it. Number 2 is knowing how to do it. Again, in acting, these are called tactics. How does each character achieve their objective? What are their tactics? What tactics do you use to win your objective, your goal? Number 3 is knowing how well you are doing it. Self-knowledge, knowing thyself. The third condition to have in order to achieve the flow is knowing how well you are doing whatever it is that you are doing that will lead you to your objective, to your goal. Number 4, knowing where to go, knowing your destination. This is a very important step. And let me explain to you with an example why this is so important, why knowing your destination is vital for the success of your goal. Think of the experience you're having when you go to a restaurant. What is the better experience? Let's use 2 different people as examples. The first person walks into the restaurant, sits at the table, and tells the waiter, "I'm hungry," and lets the waiter decide what they're going to bring them to the table. The second person walks into the restaurant, sits at the table, looks carefully at the menu, and decides what will satisfy them, what they want to enjoy, and orders it in detail to the waiter. I want this dish cooked like this, no salt, less salt, more pepper. Who do you think is going to have the better experience? Who do you think is going to leave that restaurant and say, yes, I got what I wanted. I'm satisfied. I'm happy. In my book, it's the second person. The person who looked at the menu, who read the menu, and decided what they wanted. And they asked for it, and that's how they got what they wanted. This is how they accomplished the goal of giving themselves a wonderful, nutritious, tasteful meal. The first person who just told the waiter, "I'm hungry," did not take control of their destiny. The first person allowed the waiter to make decisions for them. Do you understand the difference? Do you get through this example that we are all creative leaders? So if you are thinking, I cannot do it, I'm not a leader, I'm not the person who should sit at the CEO chair, or I cannot, you are. Every day we make creative choices about ourselves. And the more conscious we are, the better these choices are going to be, and the faster we're going to get to our goal, as long as we know what our goal is. Remember in previous episodes, we talked about how you should state your objective. We talked about the ways an actor builds the role, and the first step the actor takes to build the role that they want to experience on stage is by determining the overall objective. What do they want throughout the entire play, and then what do they want in each scene? And how do we state that objective? With an action verb to get you to do this. So, in other words, if you say, I want a relationship. So let's take this example. Let's say that you are single and you're looking for a relationship. If you say, I want a relationship, that's cool, that's great, and then you get a cat. That is a relationship. You have to take care of the cat, you have to love the cat, you have to feed the cat, you have to keep the cat alive. The cat will respond to what you're doing. That's a relationship. You need to be specific. You need to explain to yourself and to the universe or whatever is the higher force that you believe in, luck, God, whatever you believe. You need to put it in words that are going to be clear and actionable. So the fourth condition for you to achieve flow is knowing where you are going, knowing your destination. Number 5 is perceiving significant challenges. Or as we say in acting, what are the obstacles? A great leader is a person who can predict. You predict and then you create plans to overcome these obstacles. That means that you need to spend time on your goal, on your objective. It needs to feel like you're going out in battle. So you're in that tent, You're in that operation office and you have all your maps and you have all your data and you are thinking, how am I going to go into battle? How am I going to win my objective? How am I going to come back here as a winner? Predicting is a vital component of winning, of being a leader. So, number 5, perceiving significant challenges. What are the obstacles? And finally, the 6th condition to achieve the flow is being free from distractions. Focus and listen. These are the most important words in acting. Focus and listen. So number 6 condition to achieve the flow is being free from distractions. Now that we've talked about the flow, I'd like to start a conversation about what you need to be an outstanding human. What you need, what are the components, what are the ingredients you need to be an outstanding leader. Number 1, you need generosity. Number 2, you need enthusiasm. Number 3, you need presence. Number 4, grit, charisma. Let's start with generosity. In this episode, we're going to cover generosity, and in the episodes to come, we're going to cover every ingredient you need to become an outstanding human, an outstanding creative leader. So what is generosity? Generosity of spirit is one of the most powerful qualities. Generosity in leadership, in humanity, is about freely giving everything away because you are confident and strong enough to reveal yourself. You have the faith that these things belong to you and they will always belong to you and you will be able to make more of them. And that's why you feel confident in being generous. It's not about concealing. It also embraces other values such as humility, openness, love, and humanity. It makes vulnerability possible. Think about this for a second. Generosity makes vulnerability possible. Great leaders, great actors can be vulnerable, are not afraid to be vulnerable. The generous leader does it for the public. You give everything you've got in order to excite the people who follow you. And you do that by focusing fully on the others. That helps keep your ego in check and gives you the right level of humility with dignity. It's not about you. It's about the others. What do you offer to the community? What do you offer to the society? What do you offer to your group? Now, a good question would be, how do you become generous? If generosity is about giving and sharing, how do you achieve that? Well, you do it by being available to each other. And that requires empathy. Empathy is a very big ingredient in the actor's life, in the leader's life. Becoming generous means that you have empathy. You try to see where the other person is coming from. They may appear aggressive because there is a crisis in their personal life, or they may seem aloof because they're feeling insecure. It's not about you, it's about them. Every time someone exhibits a specific behavior, you should look at it from the point of view of what is happening in their life, not why are they doing this to me. It doesn't come back to you. It's about them. So if you walk into a room and someone is snappy or aggressive, it's not about you. It's not something you did. It's something that they are experiencing. Something in their lives made them make that choice. Because we always have choices. They chose to be aggressive. Why did they choose to be aggressive? Now, this is a very long discussion, and it goes back to relationships with our mothers and our fathers. But to keep it light for the sake of the podcast, I mean, the deeper work happens in the creative leadership program, the training. But for the sake of the discussion we're having right now, know that the way people react is very seldomly based on what it is that you did. It is usually something that they feel, a trigger that they had. If someone is aggressive, if someone is angry, most of the times it comes down to fear. It's because they are afraid of something. So if someone is aggressive towards you, instead of shutting down and saying that they were aggressive to you, that they did something to you, maybe you should ask them what they are afraid of. Or maybe you should ask them what triggered that reaction. Why did they make the choice to react angrily or aggressively instead of calmly or instead of lovingly? What happened? And then you get into a discussion about the other person. And then you discover how they act. And then you discover what they like, what they don't like. Then empathy comes in. So, generosity is a big ingredient in becoming an outstanding leader, an outstanding human. In the episodes to come, we're going to discuss more about the ingredients of becoming an outstanding leader. We're going to talk more about personal development. What are the obstacles that you are facing within you that are stopping you from achieving your full potential, from showing the world who you truly are? And we're going to talk more about acting. What are the techniques that an actor uses to build the role that they want to play on stage? Once more, I want to say that acting is not about pretending. Acting is not about lying. Acting is about living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for helping this podcast grow. The numbers that we are receiving are amazing. The comments that we are receiving are wonderful. We love the insights and all the questions and all the positive feedback that you're giving. Keep the communication, keep the connection. Thank you so much. This is the reason I'm doing this. And that's it. Yes, thank you so much. And I'll see you in the next one. Love and light to all.